100 days of the Ukraine war, no winners yet. This is a frozen conflict. It may be leading to developments elsewhere, though. Taiwan. Tensions are escalating there. China is making provocative moves. It is sending more ships, conducting more drills. Is China gaming out an invasion? Well, Taiwan certainly is preparing for one. Its citizens are training themselves on how to use a gun. Its allies are pumping in more military aid, and its neighbors are arming themselves with new fighter jets. So is Taiwan the next battleground? That's our cover story tonight. Taiwan is bracing for an invasion. The Pacific is being militarized. There are 7 developments that are shaping the future of this region. Let's tell you about them one by one. Development number 1, China has provoked Taiwan yet again. Last night, the PLA, the People's Liberation Army, the Chinese army, carried out another round of drills. They conducted nighttime bomber flight training. More than 10 Chinese bombers took off at night. They were equipped with different weapons. They flew from a Chinese base and practiced how to attack. Later, the Chinese press released a statement. Let me tell you how they described this drill. This is from the Chinese press. More than 10 bombers of various types equipped with weapons took off in tandem. They reached the enemy location and simulated missile attack exercises. So China has stepped up its drills, and they've been doing so since the Quad summit. Earlier this week, 30 Chinese jets buzzed Taiwan's air defense zone. It was the PLA's second largest incursion till date and their largest since January this year. These flights are Beijing's favorite option to threaten Taiwan. They're designed to intimidate. China wants to keep reminding Taiwan how easily their military can get to the island. And it's adding more aerial weapons to its arsenal. That's development number 2. China wants to develop smart drones. It is taking lessons from Ukraine. PLA researchers are studying Russia's setbacks. They believe that Chinese generals should invest more in drone technology. And we have some statements from their study. Allow me to quote. This is from the PLA's research. As an integrated platform for surveillance and combat, drones speed up the operation of the battlefield kill chain, making the progress of war faster and more flexible than ever. 2 quick conclusions here. Number 1, China wants drones for surveillance and combat. And number 2, they want drones that can bring a swift end to war. Drones with artificial intelligence or AI. How will that work? This is what we've picked up. Chinese soldiers will feed the drone with photographs, pictures of their targets, and these pictures can come from anywhere, from Chinese social media in general, or Chinese spies. The drone will then analyze these pictures, and once it is in the air, the drone will identify, track, and even kill its targets. There won't be any human intervention. Researchers from the PLA suggest these drones can be used to go after quote-unquote high-ranking officials. Now, who will lead such missions? That's development number 3. China is reshuffling its military brass. Some new appointments are in the pipeline. Commanders with deep knowledge about Taiwan are likely to be promoted. Some names are doing the rounds. One of them is Ding Lai-hung. He is a commander in the PLA Air Force. Reports say Commander Ding is quote-unquote familiar with the battle plans against Taiwan. He has served in Fuzhou. This is the provincial capital of Fujian in China. Now, Fuzhou is right opposite Taiwan's west coast. So this general, or this commander, knows the lay of the land. Commander Ding is also believed to be close to Xi Jinping. So China is conducting drills, it is looking for more weapons, and it is reshuffling the military top brass. We come back to the question, are they preparing for an invasion? The people of Taiwan certainly seem to think so. Development number 4. People in Taiwan are learning how to use a gun. These pictures are from New Taipei. Last week, a training was held here. People from all walks of life participated. They practiced how to use a gun. Remember, we saw something similar in Ukraine. Just before the war, civilians had picked up the gun. Many of them are now fighting the war. The people of Taiwan are taking inspiration from Ukraine. They say they want to be ready to fight if China invades.
I think that Hong Kong is a really good example. When they took back Hong Kong, they said there would be one country, 2 systems, without a change for the next 50 years. But only after a few years, it became apparent that, I'm sure that in the beginning, China will use a lot of psychological warfare, saying that Taiwan can remain unchanged. But I don't believe this one bit. Hong Kong is the best example. Also, actually, I have always thought that especially in the recent situation, China will attack for sure. It's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time, he says. That's what Taiwan fears. It is ramping up its defenses, also projecting strength. Yesterday, Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen visited a military base. She was photographed with an anti-tank rocket. Reports say this is an indigenously developed weapon. Plus, Taipei is getting more help from America. Development number 5. The US is ready to expand its military aid to Taiwan. That would mean more weapons, more military training, and deeper military cooperation. Both sides are making rapid progress. Earlier this week, a US lawmaker visited Taipei. On the same day, President Tsai announced Taiwan's intention to work with the US National Guard.
Last July, Senator Duckworth was one of the main sponsors of the Taiwan Partnership Act, which received bipartisan support in US Congress. As a result, the US Department of Defense is now proactively planning cooperation between the US National Guard and Taiwan's defense forces. Senator Duckworth also recently introduced a bill that further prioritizes Taiwan's security as part of US military deployment in the Indo-Pacific region.
Taiwan's neighbors are arming themselves too. Japan is worried about China's aggressive posturing. That's development number 6. Japan is talking with Britain. They could develop a next-generation fighter aircraft together. They already have an agreement to collaborate on parts for the aircraft. Now discussions are underway to co-develop a fighter jet. Remember, Japan hosted the Quad Summit this time. They have their own concerns about Chinese activities near Taiwan. An invasion of Taiwan will create a direct security challenge for Japan. In fact, during the Quad Summit, China and Russia conducted drills near Japan. They sent their bombers. We told you about it. And that should explain why Japan wants new fighter jets. So China's neighbors are arming up and the West is ramping up deployments. Why the urgency? Why are all stakeholders in the Pacific preparing for an invasion now? The answer is development number 7, an American assessment of Chinese plans. The US says it has reason to believe that China could invade Taiwan in this decade. The deadline is set to be 2027. This assessment was recently presented to American lawmakers. The US military believes China is making rapid strides. It is equipping itself with military capabilities to invade Taiwan. The US has made such an assessment before, yes, but this time they're acting on it, responding to Chinese drills, reinforcing their defenses. So we have a mass military buildup in and around Taiwan, and that dramatically increases the threat of war. Any mistake, any misstep could be a trigger. We can only hope there is none. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.